Hey everyone, this is Joe Baker with JoeBaker Photography, and today I am going to show you a tool that has changed my photography journey for the better. It is really going to improve yours as well, and of course I'm talking about Evoto. I'm going to show you how I don't know how, I've never used it to tether. And I tether all the time in my studio, but I use Capture One. But I want to show you how, and I'm going to learn just with you on how I set up tethering with Evoto. Unfortunately, I can't do wireless tethering because on Mac, for whatever reason, you can only have one internet connection. And so I can't plug in to my network and be on Wi-Fi. So I believe you can do it wirelessly, but today we are going to do it wired, and I'm going to show you how that works. The first thing I'm going to do is we are going to open up Evoto. I'm going to show you from here, and then we're going to switch over to my screen. So pay attention. There you go. I got Evoto open, and this is my library. This is exactly how it usually pops up. There is a project that I have been working on, but because I don't have my external hard drive hooked up, it's not showing. We are going to take my tether cables, and I got this one from Tether Pro. It is bright orange. We are going to plug it in to the side of my computer, and then we have here my camera, and I'm shooting with the Sony a7R5 with the Sony G Master 50-150 f2. All right, we're going to take the other side of our cable and plug it into the USB-C port here. I'm plugging it in, and then I turn on my camera, and I think we set it to, so this is the screen that pops up. You can see how the screen pops up, and I think we're going to set it to remote shooting. We set it up to remote shooting. Awesome, and my computer said camera connected successfully. I think we will go over here and click on the plus sign and create a project. And I'm going to name it, for me, I name it for the model that I'm working with, and her name is Bailey Shriver, and we're going to hit create. And then we will come down here to tethered shooting, it looks like. Click on tethered shooting. Perfect. All right. And it has all of my stuff here. It says I can begin editing by taking a photo through a connected camera or by selecting an image from disk. We're going to go through all of these little things over here. There's histogram, so we're going to take that. And the camera information, it does show that I'm connected with my camera. We're going to go into the setup. Nothing there. Oh, right here. The capture location. And I'm going to click on that because I like for mine to pop up in a specific spot. So we are going to go 2025. I'm going to create a new folder. Shoot and put today's date. And typing in the type and the session. Then I'm going to hit create. And then I'm going to hit open. So now I want all of those images to come over into that folder. And we want to import JPEG and RAW. Our current presets, we have no effects set, but I have some here. And I like to use my modeling edits with background, and we'll go over what specific settings that I have for those. And then the file name, and keep the custom file name. And for the custom file name, instead of Evoto, I'm going to call it Bailey's name. There we go. And we're ready to go. Enter. So all the import settings are set. The capture effect settings are set. And we're going through here. And we'll take a little test picture here, so you guys can see if we're going to make sure that we're actually connected. I can't focus on that. There we go. I'm focusing on my screen. And there you go. And it pops right in. So obviously there's nobody here to show, but it does show where the focus is. Actually, it's focused on my face from my thing, so we're not worried about that. We're waiting for our model to arrive, and we will go over some of that. I will show you some background of me setting up the first set, and we will go from there.
Hey, hey, are you ready for a ride? Moving on to better things, dreaming big and getting high. With you, I would do anything.
All right, guys, my model, Miss Bailey, has arrived. She's right here. And I'm doing a simple lighting setup. We're having one large beauty dish, and there is no grid on it. And we are just gonna shoot like that, and I will have it tethered into my laptop. You guys will be able to see all of the pictures that we got coming. And let's have some fun.
You said the little white lies, making me laugh till I cry. Hey, hey, and did you know that sometimes I read into the star signs? Would you believe them? Hey, hey, are you ready for a ride? Illusion is a medicine. Dreaming big and getting high. With you, I would do anything. Anything to feel alive. Anything to feel alive. Anybody listening, I would do anything just to feel alive. Anything to feel alive. Anything to feel alive.
All right, guys, we have moved on to the second set. This is Miss Bailey again. She's changed into a black dress. And what I'm gonna do with Evoto is I'm gonna turn on the ability to clean up any lint pieces or anything that she might have. I don't think she does, but just in case. And then we're doing a 4-light setup. So I have my beauty dish, but I put the grid on it. And then I didn't like how the light was falling off of her legs. So we added this other light down here. There you go. And then I have 2 edge lights. So there's one, let me point right there. And then another one, can you follow me? Yeah, right there. So good. So we have all of those lights on her, but it's a very moody image. So you'll see that when it pops up on my screen. Hope you enjoy. Let's get going. Okay guys, we just finished up here in the studio. Bailey has already left. I want to tell you my experience, my very first time that I actually did a tethering with Evoto, and I thought it was amazing. It was really cool to see the images come through and then Evoto do its thing and they popped out. And it just really streamlined my whole workflow. The only thing that, there are a couple of things that I would usually do in Photoshop, but I think that they're coming soon to Evoto, and I think it's gonna be a really cool thing to do. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed the shoot. I am gonna go back to the house and do a few more things so you guys can see what I do and kind of break down the Evoto steps a little bit more in depth of how I edit with Evoto. So stay tuned. Okay guys, we have made it back to the house and I have my laptop in front of me and we're gonna go over Evoto and I'm going to show you all of the things that it does besides the tethering part of it. And I want you to just kind of let you know how it goes. I've been deep diving into it a little bit more, and I really thought that the tethering was actually really cool to do. I just wish that there was a way for me to do it wirelessly on Mac, but maybe I'll figure that out down the road. But overall, it was a great experience doing the tethering. But now we're going to jump into some other features that I think that you might like that are available with Evoto. Okay, guys, we are in Evoto, and I'm actually in the library portion of Evoto. And we're going to go and look at the AI culling feature that it has. So I did a preliminary culling, but I'm going to go ahead and restart it. And it brings up the same window, and I'm going to kind of show you how that works. But down here, instead of restart AI culling, there'll be something that says AI culling. So we click on this, and it brings up our culling preferences. And also, at this time, it's currently free to be able to use. They are allowing it free for a limited time, and then it's going to require a subscription or something, or a standalone purchase a little bit later. Here we have the event type. You can see portrait, general, headshots, all that fun stuff. Since I was shooting with Bailey, we're going to call it a portrait. Here I can limit the total number of AI selection photos to 60. You can see here we shot a total of 197 images. You can do clusters, pick up more front-facing photos for me, and then here are the detection settings. So anytime it's closed eyes, we can have that turned on. We can skip detection for laughing, because sometimes people laugh and then close their eyes, myself included. We can have underexposed detection that has a sensitivity of low, standard, or high, overexposure detection, blur detection, cluster detection, etc., etc. So cluster is photo grouping by duplicate detection and something else. So I don't know if that really matters on this particular one, because every time I took a photo, she actually moved. So there's not really the same type of pose. And this right here is kind of important. It's called auto tagging. So any of the ones that Evoto decides to say is a selection, I want to have it turn green. And then I also want to make sure I keep the existing tags. At the end of my shoot with Bailey, I had her go through, we kind of looked through the images, and we 5-starred her favorite images and some of mine as well. So I don't want it to take that tag away. I wanted to keep those 5 stars. And then also all the AI selections, I wanted to do green. So we're going to hit start culling here. It's going to go through the process. And what it did was if we come over here to AI groups, it selected 60. There are 118 candidates that were just as good. And then we unselected, there were 9 of them that were out of focus. That's usually my fault. There were none that were overexposed. There were 6 photos that were underexposed. And then we had 6 photos where she blinked, is what it looks like. And what we can do is we can go to our AI selections. And you'll notice here, and for some reason it did green some of them, but it also down here, you can see in the corner, it did the AI star. So that is a neat little culling thing. If I wanted to look at the ones, I can uncheck the AI selections and look at the ones that were blurry. And I can see that these were probably missed focus a little bit. Or I can look at the ones where she closed her eyes. And we can see here, yep, she definitely closed her eyes on this one. So we're going to close out that. And her eyes are closed here and closed here. So that's pretty cool to be able to have that feature that's already built in. And I will tell you that I don't use it very much, but I do like the fact this whole session is going to be done with Evoto. And I think it's pretty impressive for a tool to be able to cull. There's a lot of culling softwares out there, but then that's another subscription. If you had one subscription for AI culling, you could have it just under Evoto. Now, we're actually going to go into the edit part of it, and I want to show you the settings that I had. I know that I kind of went over it in the studio, but we're going to go over some ones that were just I didn't really go over because I was kind of in a hurry whenever I was doing the shoot. But I've created a preset for mine. I call it modeling edits with background. And basically, we'll go under each section and just show you. I don't really use a lot of them, but under blemish, I use freckles and acne, and I usually set that to 75. And it will protect freckles, and it's going to remove the acne. I also do reduce face shine. A lot of the times, if a model is sweaty or her there's some makeup that actually has a lot of reflection, then this really helps out a lot. Bailey didn't have dark circles in eye bags. I use that a few times. Most of the time I don't. If they're wearing glasses, remove glass glare. But we're going to go down here to body refinement. So body blemishes, I usually remove neck wrinkles and armpit touch-ups. There is no model in the world that's going to be mad because you touched up her armpits. And I don't have any photos here to kind of show you what I did, but I have that set to 100. They just don't want their armpits showing that much. On the skin retouching, on the face, I only do about an 80 on the dodge and burn, and then I put in some sculpting. Let's see if we can bring up this image here. Actually, let me get a close-up of her face here. I think that'd be easier to see. All right, so we have a close-up here. I'm going to hit the space bar, and that takes away all the edits. So when I hit there, you can see everything. She had a little bit of acne up here in these hairs, and then when I let go, you can see what it did there. Hopefully that translates over pretty well. But we did the sculpt and burn, and basically what that's our sculpt, dodge and burn. So basically what that does is it adds a little bit more shadows on the outside, on the nose edges, and under the chin. And right here you can turn it up and down, facial features. You can do as much as you want or as little as you want to make it look like your work. And then we go down to the body skin, and I do the same thing I usually set that up pretty high. I will tell you, I change it a little. This one I change back and forth depending on what type of shoot it is. I do soften the skin just a little bit. Right here, the skin type, you have the different face unification, so you can kind of notice the redness in her cheeks. But I thought her makeup looked good, so I'm going to leave it alone. Also, you can use this AI Unified Body Complexion, and that will kind of change up. So basically what that's doing, it's matching the body to the face. But I don't think it looks bad, so I will turn that off. And then you have this other one that does a little bit less than the AI Unified Body Complexion. All right, so that's all I do is skin retouching. I don't do any facial reshaping. That's not what I do. I don't do any facial expression. I don't do that. Every now and then I will mess with the teeth, but I don't do that usually. And then the eyes, I like to do just a little subtle because you can really overbake eyes. So we're going to go 10 and 10 on the eyes. And then I kind of bump up the reflection. And if they have red eyes or they have a lot of veins in their eyes, then I will kind of play with the white balance. Also, the remove glass glare here, if they're wearing glasses, this is like the best tool for removing glare with glasses. 100%, if you do a lot of headshots, this software is so worth it. I wish I had a way to show you that right now, but just trust me, it is the best software to get rid of glare in glasses. Let's see, what else do I do? And makeup, I don't do anything with makeup. With the hair, for me, I like to have the hair kind of cleaned, so I'll do the straight hair removals at 90. The cool thing is the within figure, it'll also kind of clean up those lines in the hair and then also beyond the hair. So if I hold down the space bar again, you can kind of see these little flyaways on both sides and even across her face. And if I let go, and you can see that it removed them, and I didn't have to go in there and manually do it. You could do the smooth hair option, and usually I don't play with that very much unless I want to really highlight the hair, but so we'll turn that back down because I do want it to look real, so I don't like to play with that very much. All right, and then hands I don't touch, and full body reshape I don't ever do that either. Right here though, we're gonna go, let's see if I have one. We're gonna go to our background, and I have the clean backdrop set. And for this particular one, I didn't have any distractions, so I didn't have that flagged. One thing that I didn't do, and while I was tethering, was that I didn't make any adjustments, any basic adjustments. Like everything is set at 0. I didn't do anything with exposure, with contrast, with brightness, nothing. I didn't do any of those things. But whenever you are tethering, you can just, once you get that first one and then you go through and make it, then you can basically copy that to every photo that comes in. I like trying to get it right in camera most of the time. And so if you can tell, I did not have to make that many changes when I shot. So I try to get it perfect or close to perfect in camera as much as possible. The other one that I like to do here is if we had a chance. So, and I don't think she had anything. Okay, so example, we have these little hairs right here on her bralette. So if I click this and go to de-blemish clothing, and it removes them. And I didn't have to go in one by one and do it. And I could actually copy this over to these other images. So I hit that and I'll hit sync, and it will go through and remove if there's any blemishes on those photos or on her bralette or whatever. All right. So that's really a strong example of what I do. I am going to go here to the color adjustments. So they have this AI color adjustments. And I have some photos that I've shot of previous models, and I can match the color grading of those or get pretty close to it. So I'll click on this one because it's a white background. This is a white background. The lighting's not the same, but I can click here and it's going to process and it's going to try to match the color grading that I did on that particular photo. Now, it's not exactly the same. It did add some blues into the shadows. That's usually into the blacks. That's what I usually do. But I can actually adjust it down here and bring it down so it's not as strong or even less to kind of get it to what my standard look goes for. But I actually enjoyed these photos without the color grading that I usually do, which is weird for me, but I thought it came out really well. So I can turn this down to 0, and now it's back to where it was. This is with 100% of the color grading, and this is without. I'm going to leave it without because I just liked it like this, for example, which is kind of weird. I will tell you a couple of tips and tricks. Whenever you go to the color adjustments panel or section, you'll notice that all of your edits go away. And that's kind of by design of the software. I forgot what they told me, but I think it's just to give you a basic view of that. But if you go back to here, which is this portrait retouching, it brings them all back. So you didn't lose it. It's just how it is. Also, you're going to have these Evoto watermarks that pop up, but they go away once you export them. All right. So we will go to our export. And when I click on, well, actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down here and filter. And I'm going to do all the ones that were 5-starred. These are all the ones that she liked. And you can see that down here, we can click on one. And these are all the ones that she has the 5 stars for. And they've already been edited. That's the amazing part. They've already been edited. I'm pretty much done. But I'm going to go to, let's say, here and here. So she selected 54 images. You won't get charged credits until you actually export those images. Once you hit export, then that counts as a credit. But even though we're tethering and we shot 190 something images and it still edited all those images, I only get charged when I export them. So keep that in mind if you're worried about like, hey, do I have to keep buying credits when I'm tethering? And the answer is no, you do not. You only have to buy credits when you export. So I usually like to deliver for these type of shoots. I usually deliver anywhere from 15 to 20 images. So once I export those images, then that will count towards my credits. All right, so I'm going to click on export here so you guys can kind of see custom export so we can bring up the export screen. All right. So I created a preset called low resolution, and I said Evoto edits. And basically it is going to be in the original folder of the images, and it's going to create a subfolder called low resolution Evoto edits. And then if the file name exists, it's going to add a suffix, probably like a -2 or whatever. I'm not using Evoto Instant, so that's turned off. On the file name, I just have it the original file name. And on the image size, for social media, all social media, I use long edge 2048 pixels with a resolution of 300, and I tell it never upscale. So this is perfect for all social medias, and so I recommend using this setting for that. The file setting is I wanted a JPEG and a percentage, and I want it to be medium and set it to 70. So these are going to be smaller file sizes, so they'll be perfect for texting back and forth without using up a lot of data. And then for output sharpening, I do sharpen for screen, and the amount is standard. I haven't played with the watermark, but I usually do not watermark these images. And then I will click on export. And then when I click on export, we'll go into my Finder. And I go to my pictures here, go to 2025 photos. If I go to Braley Shriver, there is a folder here called Low Resolution Evoto Edits. And you can see these are the ones. And I think, yeah, so right now these are, I was playing with it earlier, and these are very large JPEG images, like 15 megabytes. I don't want them like that at all. So let's go ahead and minimize this. And we're going to export these two images with my settings. I'm going to hit export. And then you can see up here it pops. And we'll wait for the number to disappear. Yeah, and then it's done. So now we'll go back to our Finder. Yeah, and you'll notice, see now it's 353 kilobytes and 327 kilobytes. So it's a lot smaller, and it'll take up less space. And you do not have to have a 15 meg file or a JPEG for it to look good on social media. Awesome. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that rundown of Evoto. Right now, there is a Black Friday sale going on, so be sure to check out their website to see what those specials are. Also, you can use the link that I will have down in the description. You can use my name, JoeBaker, as a coupon code, and that should save you, I believe it's 20%. But I don't think it's better than the Black Friday sale, which ends, I think, on the 30th is when that ends. But you can, once that ends, then you can use my coupon code, JoeBaker, to save you a little bit of money. Hope that you enjoyed that. And I told people that we were going to do this, and I think it's a great piece of software. This is software that I actually use, and I want you guys to experience it. I think it's worth every penny. Worth every penny, in my opinion. So be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. And remember, just grab that camera and go shoot, man.